All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the reading for the full moon in Capricorn, which when you see this video or this posting, it will be occurring today at exactly 11:40 a.m. Pacific time on June 24th. This is going to be an interesting reading because I usually do a reading in advance for my family in the Indigo Instinct Healing Matrix on Facebook, and then I post to Instagram and YouTube on the day of the full moon. But today I have decided to post them all at the same time as a bit of an experiment to see what happens when all of the people who resonate with these readings are reached at once. So I would love to hear your feedback. Drop me a comment if this resonated. Let me know how you're finding these readings. I'm hoping to get a new deck soon, so I'm going to be changing up the imagery, which will be exciting. Might not be for another month or two. And yeah, this moon is... I really feel like it's one where you can choose your own adventure. You know, like whether you choose to make it complicated, or you choose to make it blissful, or you choose to make it heavy, or you choose to make it abundantly full of love. I really believe that this sort of weird portal that we're in right now, those of you who are energetically sensitive, you are not alone. There is definitely something weird going on that many of us in the metaphysical community are not entirely sure what is happening. But it really remains up to you to decide which vibration you want to be in, which decisions you want to make, and how you want to orchestrate your life instead of allowing life to happen at you or to you. As always, if you want to book a personal reading with me or a healing session, then drop into Instagram, click on my link tree, leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube, or send me a message on either Instagram or on Facebook. Let's get to this reading. So this reading's coming up curiously. I pulled a card that was meant to be the primary energy, and it came up as the shadow, and I pulled a card that was meant to be the shadow, and it came up as the primary. So what I'm going to do is we're going to speak about the shadow first, and we're going to speak about this energy that maybe needs to be brought forwards in your life, or maybe needs to be looked at with some tenderness and some compassion. And that is our beautiful protection guardian here. And this protection guardian, you know, in this deck and in this artist's mind and this writer's mind, this female protection angel is meant to be the feminine representation of Archangel Michael. You know, angels don't take any specific gendered form, but in this case, this artist has chosen to illustrate how they imagine the feminine version of Archangel Michael. And it's coming up in the shadows because Archangel Michael is known to be the great angel of protection and guardianship, and the one who can remove your energetic cords and provide you with that energetic shield. And there is such a deep defensiveness that has been in your system for so long. And perhaps it's relational, perhaps it's because of a relationship, or perhaps it just comes out in one particular relationship. But the truth of the matter is that this inherent defensiveness that you have been harboring is now starting to affect your ability to attract beauty into your world and appreciate the beauty in your world. So This isn't an easy shadow. This is a deep one. It's relatively subconscious, but just having the awareness and having the willingness to look at yourself and go, is there an area in my life where I get particularly defensive? Or is there a moment in my life when I get particularly defensive? Is it with a specific person? Or does it happen when I feel unsafe? Does it happen when I feel uncomfortable? And just be willing to explore this, ask this question with curiosity, not blame, not judgment, and not even necessarily trying to dig into your past and find out that specific point of when said event happened that made you defensive in your future actions. That can be really hard to uncover. But just ask yourself, where in the body does that defensiveness sit? Where in situations does that defensiveness sit? Where does it come up? And can you, for this full moon, for this reading, can you at least acknowledge it? Can you say, okay, I recognize you, I see you. And maybe, in a month or in a few weeks, start to see if you can unravel it and see where it comes up and why, and if you can bring some softness to that edge, because we're in a moment in time right now where the way that we relate to each other is so important, and the way that we communicate to each other is so important. And when we can do things with compassion, even if we know we're right, or if we can stand up for our beliefs without being defensive, like very, I'm putting my shield up and I'm defending against you. If we can stand tall and stand expressively and confidently and express our truth without the fear of needing to defend, then we may actually change the way our relationships are happening. So the world is in a fragile state, and that really boils down to its people. Yes, there's a lot going on with the environment and all of that other stuff as well. But when it comes to our human experience, the way in which we relate to others is so important. And if we can move into a state of awareness with this defensiveness that we may have been experiencing for as long as we can remember, and we can just take one step to trying to soften it, or try a different approach, or just change the form of it, we might have a lot of success getting through to those people who we feel never actually hear us. So that was our primary shadow card. And a little bit lighter, this is our card number 2 today, because there doesn't seem to be a particular order. So we got the Sage, who I love, one of my favorite cards, but we got the Sage in reverse. And really what's coming through for this card is that for a lot of us, the summer solstice has just happened. We are entering a period of being in warm weather where things are nice and we have things we want to do, and people are getting vaccinated and we want to go out and we want to see people and we want to work in our gardens or go for bike rides or do whatever. And really, it's so easy at this time of year to allow the things that we were working on, those elements that made us devoted and committed and concentrated on building resilience and building coping skills and building habits that make us genuinely happy. It's so easy to let those little efforts fall away when life seems to get easier from the outside. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be enjoying yourselves and you shouldn't be going out and having fun and doing all these wonderful things that happen in the summer, or maybe if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, in the winter, you really enjoy the slowing down, you really enjoy the quiet. But really, this seems sort of like a like sun people, like a northern hemisphere sort of message this time around, that I dropped the card. That if you allow your habits and you allow all of these little efforts that you made, maybe you started meditating for 5 minutes a day, or maybe you were going for daily walks, and you let that 100% fall away. If you get into a difficult situation, or you get into a situation that puts stress on your ability to essentially manage your emotions, if you've let all of those other habits totally fall away, it's going to put you in a bit of a pickle. And it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be hard to find balance when we've been relying on the exterior to bring us that joy. It can be as simple as having a couple of beautiful days in a row and then it pouring rain and you feel like your mood is affected. And you're in this sort of stinky mood all day, and then you realize, in the winter I was journaling every morning, and when it was nice out I stopped journaling. So now that it's raining, I haven't been doing that habit, but I also don't have that foundation of doing the habit every day that made me feel good. So just be mindful of where you are letting things fall by the wayside. And for a lot of us, that really means, even though it's difficult, it means saying no to things that come up. Summer is the time of abundance, it's the time of opportunity, and there are so many things to say yes to. So prioritize yourself, prioritize your needs, and allow yourself to preserve the habits and the little things that you do in your own world that really make you feel whole all the time, regardless of what's going on in the outside world. Now, I'm just tuning in, and I usually do 4 cards. I've always done 4 cards. We do a block and a pathway read, but instead, I'm just going to pull one more card this full moon, because it really is feeling right to just do one. I feel like the messages have been a bit heavier, or bigger. Maybe they feel bigger, so we're just going to pull one. And I'm going to frame this as our message from the universe for this cycle. So, allow yourself to take a breath and tune in and think about, what is my higher self trying to tell me? What is this card about? What situation is this card about? What feeling do I get from this card? What relationship do I feel is going on with this card? And see what comes up for you. Irony. So, like I mentioned, this really could be anything. This could be your relationship. This could be your career. This could be the hobby that you were really enamored with but now aren't as much anymore. This could be where you live. This could be your location in the country that you live in. This could be anything. But tune in with yourself and ask yourself, do I feel stuck right now? And if the things that I do every day to make me happy fell away, would I still be happy with X, with this situation, with this location, with this person? And what are my needs, really? What are my needs, and are they being met? And do I feel overwhelmed by choice, or do I feel trapped in this situation? This card is a bit like, if anybody watched cable TV in the early millennium, it's like The Price is Right, where you spin the big, that big number thing, and you really never know what it's gonna land on. There are so many options for us, and often we get overwhelmed by the choice of options. But in this situation, are you feeling trapped? Do you feel like you don't have a way out? Do you feel uninspired by the situation that you're in? And the next question to ask yourself is, that because of my state of mind, which is sometimes the case, but this time around it really feels more like it's actually because you've hit a dead end and you need to make a change. You know, you can convince yourself that things will change for a certain amount of time. You can convince yourself that it's your frame of mind. And often, if you are in a situation where you don't feel like it's going to change anytime soon, having that positive frame of mind is essential to enjoying where you are, even if it's not necessarily what you would have planned. But if you feel like you are inside a room without a door and you're waiting for that window to open, it might be that you actually have to put down the thing that you were hoping would change and choose differently. And that can be really hard to hear, but it can also be very liberating. So ask yourself, am I genuinely happy in the situation that I'm in, or do I need to choose differently? So that is the full moon in Capricorn reading that I have for you today. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on Instagram, hit me up with a little heart or comment. I'd love to know how these are resonating, or just whether you're liking them or not, or whether you want me to change it up, or you want more readings or less readings. And if you're in the Indigo Instinct Healing Matrix, my heart goes out to you for your support and being part of this family. If you're not part of this family on Facebook, my doors are always open. We have an inclusive, safe space on Facebook, and you mostly just get all of these readings in advance so you can know what's going on before it hits you with the wave of energy. And you also get access to the Transmission Tuesday videos on Tuesdays. So that is what I got for today, and I hope y'all are doing good. Much love.